everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Liz, and today I have some super cute neutral year-round farmhouse decor, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. For this first DIY, I'm going to grab these two long signs that you can get from the Dollar Tree. They have signs like this up basically all year round, so whatever ones that you have will definitely work. I'm going to go ahead and remove those hangers on the back, and then I just used a flathead screwdriver to get those staples out, but they basically just popped out as I was pulling them out from the ribbon. I'm gonna grab some large popsicle sticks that I got from Walmart. I'm gonna cut them in half to use as extra supports for the back of my sign. I'm gonna add a little bit of hot glue to the edge of one of those signs, and then I'm gonna push them together and make sure they are even on both ends. And then, like I said, for that extra support, I'm gonna take those popsicle sticks and then I'm just gonna start gluing my two signs together. I am also using a wood glue hot glue that you can find a link for in my description box below. This I find holds up way better than regular hot glue, so this is the kind that I always like to use. Once I've got my support on there, I'm going to flip it around and we are going to use the back side as the front side of our sign. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to give my entire sign a good one coat. I wasn't too worried about covering it completely because this is going to be a rustic and distressed sign, so no need to do multiple coats for this sign. Now I'm going to grab 3 of these arrows that you can find at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use them as houses. So I'm just going to start by removing the jute hanger and the tags from these. And I'm going to go ahead and just paint the edges of all of those arrows just in that same white Waverly chalk paint, because you will be able to see the sides, and I wanted them to be covered up and not just have that natural wood. I wanted them to match with the back. So I did just take all 3 of those wood arrows and paint all the sides in white. Now for my sign, I'm going to take this big ruler and leveler that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use it to draw some faux shiplap lines on it. I just followed those same indentations that were in the sign already, and I just matched those up. I went over those pencil marks with my Waverly chalk paint in mineral just to give it a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to take a chip brush and go around all of the edges of my sign so it looks a little bit more weathered. And then whatever I have left on the brush, I'm going to drag it through the entire sign. I also went through and did little circles on them to kind of make it look like little knots here and there. I don't know if they exactly looked like that, but I thought it was cute. Once I have it all painted and the paint is dry, I'm going to take my sandpaper and just rough it up a little bit, go over those lines to soften them up. And then I'm going to take this home sign that you can also get from the Dollar Tree. I just cut off the jute hanger on there. And I have been loving the two-tone look on the word cutouts that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I've seen several people do it and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I decided to do a two-tone with mine, and I'm going to just take my Waverly chalk paint in mineral. I love these two colors together. I think that the natural kind of wood look that the home sign already was with this mineral color, they just look so good together. It's not too much of a difference, but I love the way that it turned out. So once it's all painted, I'm just going to remove that painter's tape, and that's all you have to do for this. I think it is absolutely adorable. So I'm going to go back to my arrows. I'm going to take some scrapbook paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. Both of the scrapbook paper that I'll be using in this DIY is from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to trace out my arrows with that paper. I'm going to do 2 of the same paper and then 1 that is different. Basically, 2 of them are going to have a wood texture to them, and the third one is going to have a brick texture to it. I'm going to get all 3 of those arrows cut out. I'm just going to take a glue stick and I'm going to use that to attach my scrapbook paper to my little arrows, which are just gonna look like little houses. And I thought this scrapbook paper was so pretty. I love the herringbone pattern that it has to it. and I love the faux wood. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then for the third one, it's this brick texture that I thought was so pretty as well. So you got your wood houses, you got your brick house. So I thought that these were so cute. And then I just went in with some sandpaper to all the edges of my houses to get all the excess paper off of them. Any of the paper that was hanging off all the edges, I just went back and forth, and the paper comes off really, really easy. And I also like that it gives it a little bit more of a distressed look to the paper. Next, I'm going to hot glue all my houses down to my sign. I'm just going to lay them out right in the middle. I just did the wood house and then with the brick house in the middle and then the other wood house on the other side. And I tried to just line these up as even as I possibly could. And then I'm going to take that home sign and I'm just going to put that right on top of those little houses. And lastly, I'm going to take this ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to tie it in a simple little bow, add some hot glue, and attach that to my middle house at the very top. I'm going to dovetail the ends, and that is it for this home sign. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love how neutral it is, and I'm so excited to add this to my home decor.
You as you drive, do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along, and I can't help but feeling, just loving.
For this next project, you're going to take 2 of these little wood pallets that you can get from the Dollar Tree in the Crafter's Square section. I just went in with some sandpaper in the beginning because they do have pretty rough edges with little pieces of wood sticking out here and there. So I tried to get it as smooth as I possibly could. And then I'm just going to hot glue those 2 pallets together. I'm going to use a popsicle stick and cut it down to size just to reinforce it so it's a little bit more sturdy. And then I'm going to take my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to paint the entire thing. And I did just do 1 coat on it. I wasn't too worried about it, again, having full coverage because it is going to be a rustic piece. So I just did 1 good coat. Once that is all dry, to distress it, I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in mineral, and with a chip brush, I'm going to go over all of those sides, just doing a dry brushing technique, starting from the side and dragging it to the middle, and then I do go in between each of those slats as well to define those a little bit more and give it more dimension and distressing. So next I'm going to take some florals. You can use whatever florals you want. These are from a mixture of Hobby Lobby and Michaels. And I just started cutting off little pieces here and there and playing around with the arrangement. Once I got the arrangement that I liked, I'm going to take a piece of floral wire. I'm going to twist that wire around all of the stems. I wanted this to look like a little bouquet. So once I've got those all attached, I'm going to take some twine. I'm going to tie a double knot at the top to secure it all in place, and then I'm going to take that twine and I'm going to start twisting it around all of the stems. I go all the way to the bottom and then I do a second layer all the way to the top, and then once I get back to the top, I'm going to tie it in a double knot again, and then I am going to tie a little bow. Now, I knew just trying to hot glue this down to the sign, it wasn't going to work very well. So what I decided to do was take a piece of a popsicle stick and I hot glued it to where about the bow was on the stems of the bouquet. And I took an extra piece of twine and I just wrapped it around the front of the bouquet and then down through the slats of the palette. And then I tied the twine around that popsicle stick so that it would hold the bouquet in place.
Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here
this last project, you're going to take one of these mason jar signs that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Now, I tried my best to scrape off those flowers and leaves on there, but they just kind of melted off and then were sticking all weird, and I just could not get them all completely off and clean. So I decided to just use the back. I'm going to take this scrapbook paper that I got in a pack from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trace out the mason jar on the back of that scrapbook paper, and then I am going to cut it out. And again, you don't have to be perfect when you're cutting this out. I tend to cut it out a little bit bigger so that I can go through with my sandpaper and get a nice clean edge that way. I'm going to use my glue stick again just to attach my scrapbook paper to the back of my mason jar. And then, like I said, just using that sandpaper technique to go around all the edges of that mason jar to get all the extra and excess piece of scrapbook paper off of your sign. Now I'm going to take this ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby as well. I'm just going to wrap that around the top portion of that mason jar, add some hot glue, and hot glue it in place. I'm going to take these rub-on transfers that you can get from the Dollar Tree. I am going to cut out that middle wreath there, and I searched everywhere for these. So when I finally found them at my Dollar Tree, I may have picked up like 4 sheets of this. So I love the watercolor look to it, so I had to grab it and use it in this project. So I just took that wreath, centered it where I wanted it, and then I just started rubbing all over the rub-on to get it nice and stuck on there. And then I just removed that clear sheet from the rub-on. I'm going to take some twine, wrap it around that ribbon that we put on before about twice. I'm going to tie a double knot and then cut off the excess twine, and then I'm going to make a twine bow just by wrapping it around my thumb and my pointer finger about 3 times, taking an excess piece of twine, tying a double knot in the middle, and then cutting off the excess on the tails. And that's all you have to do to make these super cute bows. I'm going to add some hot glue to it, add it to the middle of that twine and ribbon, cut off the excess. And then lastly, I just took a sticker that I had for the letter M and put it right in the middle of my wreath. And that is it for this adorable farmhouse mason jar.
Forever, I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you, everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving.
Now that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite project was in the comments down below. I'm so excited to be getting back into my all-year farmhouse decor, so definitely stick around for some more of those videos. I will have a couple more Valentine's and winter decor videos coming up, so if you want to see those, make sure you have your notification bell turned on, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here